The sub-projects of MK Ultra blow you away. We went over that already. If you missed it, it's too bad because it was great programming. You're not going to get it anywhere else on all the crap you're watching on all the other stations. Well, anyway, hope you're enjoying us here on Stop Bitch and Start a Revolution with me, Silly Whack Willie and Buzzy Zipwhack here at our pot field. Absolutely, folks. We're growing it. We're knowing it. This is green gold, folks, you know? Marijuana is the King Kong of all plants in the plant kingdom. The only one that has sexes, male and female, out of the 3 million plus plants. I don't know what you know about it, folks, but educate yourself and those around you. Now, what are we gonna do, Buzz? We did MK Ultra. Finally, we showed...
Destroyed by design?
America. Was it destroyed by design? Did we give all our national parks over as biospheres to the UN in collateral for the national debt? You better believe we did. Wake up, or wake-o, people. This country is going down the crapper, and if you keep sitting there on the crapper, doing nothing, well, at least pray to God while you're on it. All right, so that was season 2 in a nutshell, man. We rocked and we rolled. We showed you some stuff perhaps you may not have ever been aware of, and if we weren't here doing this volunteer work, showing our heart and souls, making ourselves transparent before you, well, where would you learn it? Well, anyway, we're grateful for the constitutional right to free speech right here. Now, I don't know how much time we got left to this program, but we can't have too much time.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes.
What do we got? We got an overview of food for thought. Now, Buzzy, get busy. Tell the people what they should be doing, all right, on Wednesdays at 9 p.m.
You should be tuning in to Nutmeg TV right here on Channel 5 in the Plainville area. And you'll check out Food for Thought, where we have been trying to all point towards a single subject, or basically, really, there's 2 subjects. One is the global governments, the New World Order, and which ultimately seems to lead to the second coming of Christ when you kind of start to take it into a whole Gestalt method or a Gestalt view of the world.
And that's how we see it. We ain't gonna be shy about telling them.
We just did the Abrahamic covenant and the pyramid, God's message written in stone. You know, that's a message you're not going to find in too many places, because the mainstream media, those who pull the strings on the mainstream media, don't want you to know what's going on. They don't want you to be able to think freely for yourselves, because this is not only a war on drugs, that's just one of the symptoms of the disease, because this is all really a battle for your mind.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is, because you cannot be free if you cannot think freely. And freedom of thought is where it all starts.
The CIA is the cocaine, heroin, marijuana import agency. They're the one bringing the drugs in. They're the one who created the genocide out in California by bringing all the crack in the early 90s. You better believe it. Wake up, stop bitching, start a revolution, man, because we're mad as hell. You better get mad as hell, because until you do, you're so comfortable, you got food and you got shelter, you ain't gonna do crap. You just keep taking in your wages, working 190 plus days a year to pay your state federal income tax, and 88 days a year. Out of that 190 days a year, you're working for your federal government before you even make a buck for yourself, so remember that. You don't want to pay your tithes at church, which is 10% plus? Well, you'll happily pay Satan and his world government 40% and not even bitch about it. Wake up!
That's
or wake up.
None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free.
Yeah, you tell it again,
and
say that again.
None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free.
That's right. And we're here to testify that God ain't dead. He's on the throne. He's watching lively. And marijuana, cannabis, hemp is his favorite plant on the planet. And we're here to testify because you know what? All you 501(c) churches, you know what? The head of your church is the state. And you know what? Every one of your churches out there signed up under the 501(c) tax plan. Let me tell you something, folks. Those churches out there trying to make you a cookie-cutter Christian, that's churchianity. Without a vision, people, guess what? You perish. Without knowledge, people, you perish. You know, and that's what's happening. Our leaders, what are they doing? They're selling off the infrastructure of our nations. They're selling the highways to Spain and all these different countries so they can put tolls on them and keep track of you. Folks, this is what's happening. Our schools, you know what? You know they're dumbing the kids down, man, all right? And what's going on with our industry? We're shipping it out of the country while our borders are left open. So what? We can have all the Mexicans and any other person who wants to walk on up through it. And now we opened up the borders for the trucks from Mexico to come in. Let me tell you something, man. We have to wake up, because if we don't wake up, Our leaders are going to continue to take this country right down the crap hole.
Well, they're always declaring war on something, and that's something, I kind of wanted to point out here, Here we are in another real shooting war over in Iraq. They're about to, they seem to be preparing for war to go into Iran. But that was not the whole point. We are a warring nation, folks. I mean, we like to think of ourselves as a peaceful nation, as peaceful people. We're constantly declaring war on drugs, on poverty, on inflation, on education, on illiteracy, war this, war that. Have you ever thought about trying to make it peace?
Right.
Plain and simple.
Simple.
Try to make some peace with it.
And how about the dollar value? What's going on? Remember, folks, we were on the gold standard,
First 125 years.
That's right. Constitution says what? Congress shall do what?
Regulate the value of the coin thereof.
Right. Silver and gold, folks. Well, guess what? That was gone a long time ago when this country was declared bankrupt in 1933. In 1971, we were legally taken off the gold standard, or 70, I'm not sure which one it was, thereabouts, by Nixon. And then, guess what? We sparked up a deal with the Saudis, so we went from the gold standard to the oil standard. And guess what? When, what's his name, the meatball who we killed, Saddam, who was planted in there by the CIA, guess what, folks? When he wanted to start trading his oil in the euro, guess what? We went over and we attacked him. You know why? We want to keep the dollar up there. But guess what? The euro's way above the dollar. We're equal with the Canadian dollar. You know why? Because we're going into the North American Union. We're going to have the Amero dollar before you know it. And this is what's going on. Our leaders, well, who are our leaders? Let's talk about the history of the war on drugs a little bit.
Leading us. Let me tell you.
Let me take you back in time. Get inside my time machine, folks, and let me take you back, all right, to before when Skull and Bones down in Yale University was formed, all right, to about the time of the Boston Tea Party. Well, at the Boston Tea Party just wasn't a tea party about, taxation. It was also a revolt against the East India Trading Company, who held a monopoly on opium. Now, they were trading opium over in China. Let me tell you, folks, where did all that money go that they made from the opium trade hundreds of years ago? Well, it didn't evaporate, folks, because money don't evaporate. It just changes hands. All right, so let's tell you where that went, folks. It went into the Eastern liberal establishment. All right, we're talking about the East Coast of this country. All right, we're talking about the controllers of this country. All right, and the Eastern liberal establishment got that money. All right, and when they got that money, before I go too far, Buzzy, all right, let's talk a little bit about Russell and Taft. Now, Russell made his money from the Perkins Syndicate. The Perkins Syndicate, there's a bunch of New Englanders names. The Perkins, the Lawls, the Forbes, the Cushings, the Sturgis, the Delanos, the Lowe's, and it goes on and on. All these people, these families from New England made their money from the opium trade. Now, where'd that money go? Well, let me tell you. The Order of Skull and Bones, Chapter 322, was founded at Yale University in 1933 by William Huntington Russell and Alphonso Taft. The order was incorporated as the Russell Trust in 1856. Now, where do you think they got their money? Let me tell you. From opium, from drugs. These are the same people who are in cahoots with the Federal Reserve. When you look at all the 15 seniors who get tapped, or juniors or whatever, seniors that get tapped to join the order, let me tell you something, folks. When you follow and you see where they get plugged in, all right, one of them happened to be plugged in as the first banker of the bank in Russia after the Russian Revolution in 1917, the Bolshevik Revolution. Now you say, why do you bring that up? Because who funded the Bolshevik Revolution? I may be getting ahead of myself, but it's none other than the family, the cartel of Rothschild, Rockefeller, all those foundations that are tax exempt, that are trying to Sovietize us. And if you didn't know that, all right, there was the Reese, the Reese put up by Congress back in the 50s. Norman Dodd did a research on all these tax exemption foundations, the Fords, the Carnegies, and all these exempt foundations who are giving money to socialists, Marxists, Leninists, Marxists, to do what? To Sovietize our country so that we have no way towards freedom, so that the Council on Foreign Relations, through the Bilderberg and the other auxiliary group of the Bilderberg, can roll us safely into the North American Union, which is incrementalism towards world government. They had the Economic Union of Europe. Same things going on right now here, folks. Wake up, stop bitching, start a revolution, educate yourself and those around you. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a heap of bullcorn.
You already are in a heap of bullcorn, just don't know it yet.
So what we're trying to say, folks, is that there's a connection between the Eastern liberal establishment, which became the Council on Foreign Relations, which founded the United Nations, which, if you see my pin right here, no United Nations. It's a communist front. It's a non-government organization, but yet they're getting power from all these countries that don't have what we have, and what we have is the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Wake up, people, or wake up.